Hey fellow Nevillers, welcome back to the channel. My name's Sarah, otherwise known as Neville-a-holics. We're working our way through Neville's book, Your Faith is Your Fortune. We've reached chapter 12, Crucifixion and the Resurrection. So let's dive in and understand what Neville is teaching us right here. So, as is usual, every chapter has a Bible quote. This one's no different. Let's read it. It says, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. John 11:25. And you know Neville's going to give us an explanation. The mystery of the crucifixion and the resurrection is so interwoven that to be fully understood, the two must be explained together, for one determines the other. This mystery is symbolized on earth in the rituals of Good Friday and Easter. Thank you, Neville. I'd love a description of what they really mean, not what generic man has taught us. You know it's not going to be that. He says, you have observed that the anniversary of this cosmic event is announced every year by the church. It is not a fixed date, as are other anniversaries marking births and deaths, but that this day changes from year to year, falling anywhere from the 22nd of March to the 25th of April. The day of resurrection is determined in this manner. The first Sunday after the full moon in Aries is celebrated as Easter. Aries begins on the 21st day of March and ends approximately on the 19th day of April. Thank you, Neville. The sun's entry into Aries marks the beginning of spring. The moon, in its monthly transit around the earth, will from sometime between March 21st and April the 25th, an opposition to the sun, which opposition is called a full moon. The first Sunday after this phenomenon of the heavens occurs is celebrated as Easter. The Friday preceding this day is observed as Good Friday. So now we know. He continues, this movable date should tell the observant one to look for some interpretation other than the one commonly expected. Take a break here. I don't know about you lovelies, but I did actually notice, why is Easter? Why does it move? See, my birthday's April the 9th. Sometimes it's before Easter, sometimes it's on Easter, sometimes it's after Easter. And I was wondering why, and Neville has given that enlightenment to us. Thank you, Neville. Now, he says, these days do not mark the anniversaries of the death and resurrection of an individual who lived on earth. Now that's what we do out here in our 3D, or in my world when I was younger. We did celebrate those days as the rising of Jesus and the death of Jesus, all the other way around. Now, Neville says, seen from the earth, the sun in its northern passage appears at the spring season of the year. To cross the imaginary line man calls the equator. I didn't even know that was an imaginary line. Thank you, Neville. So it is said by the mystic to be crucified that man might live. It is significant that soon after this event takes place, all nature begins to arise or resurrect itself from its long winter's sleep. Therefore, it may be concluded that this disturbance of nature at this season of the year is due directly to this crossing. Thus, it is believed that the sun must shed its blood on the Passover. Now Neville continues, if these days marked the death and the resurrection of a man, they would be fixed so that they would fall on the same date every year as all other historical events are fixed. Let me know down there, my lovelies, if you notice that too. He says, they would fall on the same date every year as all other historical events are fixed, but obviously this is not the case. These dates were not intended to mark the anniversaries of the death and resurrection of Jesus, the man. The scriptures are psychological dramas. We've gone into this before. They're not stories about men and women that walk the earth, my lovelies, even though that's what we think they are when we were trained by the Orthodox Church, as Neville so lovely says it. So he says the scriptures are psychological dramas and will reveal their meanings only as they are interpreted psychologically. So that's a big hint from Neville there. Psychologically interpreted when we read the Bible. He says these dates are adjusted to coincide with the cosmic change which occurs at this time of year, marking the death of the old year and the beginning or resurrecting of the new year or spring. These dates do symbolize the death and resurrection of the Lord, but this Lord is not a man. It is your awareness of being. It is recorded that he gave his life that you might live. I am come that you might have life and that you might have it more abundantly. Consciousness slays itself by detaching itself from that which it is conscious of being, so that it may live to that which it desires to be. Spring is the time of year when the millions of seeds which all winter lay buried in the ground suddenly spring into visibility that man might live, and because the mystical drama of the crucifixion and resurrection is in the nature of this yearly change, it is celebrated at this spring season of the year, but actually it is taking place all of the time. The being who is crucified is your awareness. The resurrection is the lifting into visibility of this conception of yourself. of yourself. Neville then goes into a fabulous description of Good Friday. So we'll leave the chapter right there. I'll do another video, part 2, tomorrow. Let's go over what Neville shared here. So, Easter, resurrection, crucifixion is not the story of a man that walked the earth. It's us and our conception of ourself. Our wish fulfilled, i.e. our desire, comes into manifestation out in our 3D after we've crucified it on our awareness. All right, my lovelies, now we can understand the Bible in a much better light. Thank you, Neville. And now we can understand about resurrection and crucifixion, the Neville way. All right, my lovelies, big fat kiss, because we're all about love up here. Please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Feel free to leave a comment or a lecture reference and I will go into it. And I will see you tomorrow for part 2. Bye, guys.